for some Miami Heat basketball with Deron Butler on Kendall Sports Network.
And a good Friday evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Deron Butler, welcoming you to another edition of Heat Zone Live, courtesy of Kendall Sports Network. It's the holidays, and the Miami Heat are seeing more than just red. It's red and green in Boston as they take on a familiar rival in the Boston Celtics. This one should be not only a high-scoring game, but I expect it to be a very physical, very emotional game between these two rivals. Last season, Boston owned the regular season series, winning 3 out of 4 against Miami. But this is the first meeting this season between these two teams. Hopefully Miami can get back into the swing of things after their close win against Brooklyn, or a 9-point victory against Brooklyn, I should say. But with the Celtics and the Heat taking off, who knows? Who knows how crazy this one is going to get? So, here are my 3 keys for tonight's game. Key number 1 is Miami's defense need to be defensive, need to be aggressive and staunch. If there's one thing Miami needed more of in those last few games where they've lost, is the defense. Miami's defense needs to come into play, especially with the rise of Kelly Ware. He surpassed Bam Adebayo for most blocks in a season, or most blocks in a game, or something like that. But Kelly Ware is definitely a defensive anchor. I want to see him more like Alonzo Mourning and less of somebody who's timid to go up against some of the other bigs. So I definitely have my eye. I will have my eye on Kelly Ware to provide some defense as well as offense. And speaking of offense, Miami will need to attack the lane. That's key number 2. Miami will need to attack the lane on both ends of the floor. Not just on offense when they go in for the layups and going for and one opportunities and dunks, but also getting offensive and defensive rebounds. Miami definitely needs to be aggressive in that area as well. And the third and final key is that their Heat rookie, Kasper Ziakajunic, he needs to have a feel for the game tonight. I know we didn't see much of Kasper Ziakajunic this season, but he is getting his first start of the season, and I like to see what he can do. I know he's eager, he's fresh, he's young. He definitely has some potential, and I think he's gonna have a great cast to help him out. So if Kasper Ziakajunic has a good feel for the game and understand the schemes and tactics for the Heat, then he'll be just fine. So with those 3 keys, I see the players are warming up. They're getting themselves ready for the player introductions, and I'll be back for tip-off. So we are ready to begin tonight's game, ladies and gentlemen. Kasper Jr. in the starting lineup with Jaime Jaquez Jr., Norman Powell, Bam Adebayo, and Kel'el Ware. And we have tip-off, and Miami will have control of the ball. Boston's starting lineup includes Derek White, Jordan Walsh, Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, and Neemias Queta. There's Norman Powell for three. He misses. Rebound by Kel'el Ware. Kel'el Ware gives it to Bam. Bam being guarded by Walsh. Bam with the fadeaway. He misses. Rebound by Kasper Jr. He gives it to Kel'el Ware for three. He misses. Rebound by Boston. And here come the Celtics. Flying to the lane. Gets his shot block. Jordan Walsh gets his shot block. And I think that's going to go right back to the Heat. Last touch by Jordan Walsh, I believe. No, but this referee saying it's 2 free throws for Boston. So Jordan Walsh will go to the line for 2 free throws. Walsh makes the first. And he makes both free throws. So Boston are on the board first. All right, here comes Miami. Jaquez being guarded by Jaylen Brown. Out to Kel'el Ware for three. And Kel'el Superboy Ware, 3 for Miami. And here comes Boston. Jaylen Brown kicks it out to Queta. Out to Peyton Pritchard. The alley-oop to Queta. No go. Kel'el Ware with the rebound. He gives it to Kasper Jr. Back to Kel'el Ware. Kel'el Ware backing him down. Out to Kasper Jr. And a 3 for Kasper, the friendly ghost, Jr. Miami are up by 4. All right, here comes Boston now. Jaylen Brown out to Queta. And Neemias Queta gets the layup. Boston are down by 2. Here comes Jaime Jaquez Jr. Gives it to Bam. Bam, back out to Jaquez for 3. That's a miss. Rebound by Boston. Here comes Derek White. Guarded by Bam. Kicks it out to Peyton Pritchard. Out to Neemias Queta. Queta driving into the lane. And he gets the layup over Kel'el Ware, and we're all tied at 6. Alright, and here comes Bam. Gives it to Norman Powell. Powell driving in. Out to Jaquez for 3. And another miss for Jaquez, and that's going to be I think that's going to be a foul on Boston. Neemias Queta with some fancy footwork against Kel'el Ware for that layup. All right, Miami will inbound the ball. Here comes Jaquez. Out to Kasper Jr. for the corner 3. And he misses it. Rebound by Jordan Walsh. And here comes Peyton Pritchard in Boston. Jaylen Brown. Guarded. Here comes Jordan Walsh. Flying in for the layup over Bam Adebayo. And now Boston has the lead again. And that's a block from Neemias Queta. The Celtics right now have 6 points in the paint to Miami 0. That was a fantastic block by Neemias Queta. Alright, and here comes Kel'el Ware. And he gets the rebound and put back over Neemias Queta. And Miami are tied. Miami has tied the game at 8. Miami so far with 5 offensive rebounds. And there's a 3 from Derek White. And the Boston Celtics lead by 3. Here comes Bam. Out to Jaquez. Rebound by Boston. Here comes Peyton Pritchard. Gives it to Jaylen Brown. Brown being guarded by Yakajunas and now Hawkes. Peyton Pritchard for three. Misses it. Rebound by Keita. Neemias Keita being guarded by Kelly Ware. Peyton Pritchard for the corner three, and he knocks it down. And the Celtics go up by 6. Here comes Hawkes. Out to Bam. And Bam gets fouled by Jaylen Brown. Bam Adebayo going to the line for 2 free throws. He makes the first. He makes both free throws. Miami down by 4. And here comes Boston again. Neemias Keita. Jaylen Brown. All right, here's Neemias Keita being guarded by Kelly Ware. Derek White has the ball. He gets fouled and he will go to the line for 2 free throws. Nice little give and go sequence from Boston, and it results in a foul. So Derek White will go to the line for 2 free throws. In Monday's game against the Pistons, he had a season high at 31 points, going 6 for 7 from the free throw line. Derek White makes the first. And he makes both free throws. So Boston are up by 6. Here comes Hawkes. Gives it to Norman Powell. Norman Powell for 3. He misses it. Rebound by Bam. Out to Yakajunas for 3. Gets his shot blocked. And Boston now has possession. Boston already with 4 blocks to Miami 0. And that's going to be a turnover on the Celtics, so it'll be heat ball. Derek White coming up big for that block over Yakajunas. That's a welcome to the league moment for Yakajunas right there. All right, here comes Norman Powell. Rebound by Jordan Walsh. And here comes Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown with the spin, being guarded by Yakajunas. He gives it to Derek White for the 3. That's a miss. Rebound by Peyton Pritchard. Here goes Peyton Pritchard now, being guarded by Kelly Ware for the step back 3. He misses. Rebound by Jaime Hawkes Jr. Hawkes gives it to Kelly Ware, and he gets fouled. So Kelly Ware will go to the line for 2 free throws. And we are going to have ourselves a timeout. Boston's lead 16-10 against Miami. And we are back. Score is 16-10. Boston. Right now, the Celtics have more blocks than Miami, but the Heat have more offensive rebounds. We just need those offensive rebounds to generate into points. All right, so right now, both teams are getting out of their benches as we're ready to resume play. All right, so Kelly Elway will go to the line for 2 free throws. He makes the first. In last night's game against the Brooklyn Nets, Kelly Ware had a double-double of 22 points and 12 rebounds. He definitely put on a show in Brooklyn last night. Let's see if he can do it again in Boston. So far, he's off to a good start. And Kelly Ware makes both free throws. Miami are down by 4. And here comes Peyton Pritchard, guarded by Kasparas Giannakoulis. He gives it to Jaylen Brown, being guarded by Drew Smith. Back to Pritchard, back to Jaylen Brown. Peyton Pritchard with a long 3. He misses it. Rebound by Kelly Ware. Gives it to Drew Smith. Foul to Norman Powell. He gets fouled and he gets the and 1. Go, go, Norman Powell Ranger. Oh, excuse me. That was a 3. Well, the scoreboard said he made a 3. So it could be a rare 4-point play. And Norman Powell misses it. And here comes Jaylen Brown, guarded by Drew Smith. Jordan Walsh for the corner 3. Misses it. Rebound by Kasparas Giannakoulis. Throws it all the way out to Simone Fontecchio. He misses the layup. Rebound by Boston. Okay, Boston changed the scoreboard, so it's now 14-16 in favor of Boston. Here comes Peyton Pritchard. Ball's knocked loose. Last touch by Drew Smith. It will be Celtics ball. All right, and here comes, stolen away by Drew Smith. Boston recovers the ball. They give it to Peyton Pritchard. Out to Jaylen Brown. That's going to be a foul. And Jaylen Brown will go to the line for 2 free throws. That foul is going to be on Kasparas Giannakoulis. Definitely got overzealous on defense. And Jaylen Brown knocks down the first free throw. All right, Sam Hauser is now in the game for Boston. Sam Hauser, another 3-point specialist. Jaylen Brown knocks down the second free throw. So now Boston leads by 4. All right, here comes Drew Smith. He brings it up to the floor. Out to Norman Powell for the layup. And he gets it. Miami are now within 2. Here comes Jaylen Brown. That's a 3 for Boston. They miss it. Rebound by Kel'el Ware. Out to Norman Powell. Powell driving into the lane. Rebound by Boston. Peyton Pritchard now has it. And that's a corner 3 from Sam Hauser. And the Boston Celtics lead by 5. Here comes Kasper Ziakajunas. Out to Kel'el Ware for 3. And Kel'el Super Bowl Ware 3 for Miami. I tell you something. Kel'el Ware with 10 points and 5 rebounds. If he's not on your all-star list, he should be right now. And here comes Sam Hauser again. Ziakajunas almost came up with the steal. And this is a rebound by Miami. Here comes Drew Smith. Driving into the lane. And he gets the layup. And we're all tied up at 21. Here comes Peyton Pritchard. Gives it to Sam Hauser. Boston looking for another 3. And that's gonna be a offensive foul on Boston. This one's gonna be on Jaylen Brown. Both he and Sam Hauser got a little aggressive with Kasper Ziakajunas. And Jaylen Brown gets hit with a technical. That does not look good for Jaylen Brown. Drew Smith will go to the line for the technical free throw. And Drew Smith knocks down the technical free throw. All right, Jaylen Brown will take a seat. And Bam Adebayo's back in for Miami. And Simone La Dolce Vita Fadecchio. 3 for Miami. Miami right now on a 9-0 run as they lead by 4. And here come the Celtics. Post up for the basket. Nope. Rebound by Jaime Jaquez Jr. Here comes Drew Smith. Out to Fontecchio. And here comes Fontecchio. Missing the layup. Rebound by Boston. They kick it out to Sam Hauser. Back to Derek White. White being guarded by Bam. Here comes Boston. They lose the ball. And it's stolen away by Fontecchio. Fontecchio to Jaquez. And they turn the ball over. And Boston are in a hurry. And they get the layup over Bam Adebayo. Mena gets the layup for Boston. And here comes Miami now. Bam has the ball. And it's a 3 on the way. That's a miss. Rebound by Boston. Here comes Derek White. That's a 3 on the way. And Derek White knocks it down to give Boston a lead again. All right, and here comes Miami. Bam, missing that layup. And here comes Boston again. Derek White with the spin, missing that basket. Derek White has it. And what a fantastic play from Boston to give themselves a 3-point lead. All right, here comes Miami. Fontecchio has it to Drew Smith. Drew Smith gets fouled, and he will go to the line for 2 free throws. And we will have ourselves a timeout. Boston have found their way back into this one. They lead 28-25. And we are back. Score is 28-25. Boston. The Heat did have a 5-point lead, but then the Celtics came right back and took it away. Of course, this play from Boston, Anthony Simon stealing the ball and giving it right back to Boston for a go-ahead dunk. Drew Smith misses the first free throw. He misses both free throws. And here comes Boston now. Sam Hauser now has it, being guarded by Fontecchio. Gives it to Derek White. White being guarded by Hawkes. That's a three. Derek White misses it. Recovered by Fontecchio. And now here comes Miami. Here comes Drew Smith. And that's going to be another foul on Boston. Drew Smith, I think he's going to go to the line for 2 free throws. Sorry. Bam will go to the line for 2 free throws. Bam misses the first. And Bam goes 1 of 2 from the line. The Heat trail by 2. Both teams having similar 3-point percentages right now in this game. Anthony Simons getting that layup, and the Boston Celtics lead by 4. Here comes Hawkes. Hawkes looking to drive it in. Kicks it up to Fontecchio. Back out to Hawkes for the corner 3. And Hamid the Aztec Hawkes 3 from Miami. And that will end the first quarter. As the Boston Celtics lead 30-29. We'll be back for more action in the second quarter. Right now, if you have any questions or comments about the Heat game, feel free to leave some comments right now. And we are back for the second quarter. The Boston Celtics now leading by 5 in this game. Sorry, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties right now, but we are managing to get through them. on both ends. The Miami Heat looking to get back on offense. All right, right now the Heat are trailing by 2 after a 3-pointer, I believe. Right now, both teams are neck and neck. Right now. Right now, we're experiencing some lag, but we're experiencing some lag on the video. But as you can see at the scoreboard, Miami has come back to tie this one up. All right, so right now it's still in the second quarter. Both teams tied at 34. I think right now I think a few NBA games are lagging right now, but we'll keep you updated as the Boston Celtics now go up by 2. Right now, Boston are ahead 36-34. Right now, Miami should have possession of the ball with 9:29 remaining in the second quarter. All right, we got a foul on Anthony Simons, and that will send Kasper Jr. to the line for 2 free throws. Jr. makes the first, and we got ourselves a 1-point game. And we're all tied up at 36. So once again, we have another neck and neck game between these two teams. All right, Boston has possession of the ball. They're looking to swing it around. It's still 9:13 remaining in the second quarter. So we're still tied at 36. I think Miami has possession of the ball, and that's going to be another foul on Miami. Not sure who it is on. All right, we have some substitutions. Peyton Pritchard and Jaylen Brown are back into the game for Boston. Sam Hauser and Derek White will take a seat on the bench. Kasper Jr. was his second personal foul. Jaylen Brown missing that jump shot. Rebound by Jaquez. Miami now looking to get the lead back. 8:40 remaining in the second quarter. All right, Miami is swinging the ball around. Bam coming up with that miss. Gets his own rebound, but he gets fouled. So it's going to be a loose ball foul on Boston. Fontecchio coming up with that miss for the three-point shot. And another rebound for Miami. And this one's going to be another foul on Boston, this time on Anthony Simons. And Miami has retaken the lead with that basket from Bam Adebayo. So the Heat now lead by 2. All right, here comes Boston looking to respond. Most likely to take the lead again. Anthony Simons is coming out of the game, and Jordan Walsh will re-enter. All right, Jordan Walsh answers with a layup. And there's a 3 from Simone La Dolce Vita Fontecchio. 3 for Miami. The Heat now lead by 1 in this game, with a nice assist from Bam Adebayo. Jaylen Brown coming up with that basket. Jaime Jaquez coming up with a basket of his own, but he misses it for Miami. Jordan Walsh coming down with that rebound. Stolen away by Miami. Miami right now answering back with a basket of their own, and they lead by 3. So far, so good for Miami. Myron Gardner coming up with that layup for Miami, with a nice assist from Jaime Jaquez Jr. Boston looking to respond back with a basket of their own. But we will have ourselves a timeout. Miami leads 43-40 in the second quarter. And we are back. Score is 43-40 Miami. We have some substitutions entering the game. Hugo Gonzalez entering the game for Boston, and Norman Powell is subbing in for Jaime Jaquez Jr. So right now, Boston has the ball and they're looking to regroup. The Celtics are looking for a 3 right now. Most likely looking to give it to Peyton Pritchard or Jaylen Brown or even Derek White. Another no-go for Boston. Minot turns it over, and Miami has and that's another 3 for Miami, and they go up by 6. Right now, it's 6:18 left in the second quarter. Kasper Siakam Jr. hit that 3. So let's see what Boston can do right now. Boston right now, I think they may be struggling on offense. Jordan Walsh missing with that 3. Bam Adebayo coming up with a rebound. Miami looking to push it up ahead in a hurry. And they knock down another 3. I'm sorry, Dean. I'm sorry, Bam Adebayo missed that jump shot. And it leads to a Jaylen Brown layup. So now the Celtics are trying to come back into this one. And here comes Miami looking to respond. And Simone Fontecchio knocks down the 3. Simone La Dolce Vita Fontecchio. 3 for the Miami. Right now we have 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Another missed 3 from Boston, and that leads to a rebound for Myron Gardner. And here comes Miami now, looking to add more to their lead. That's a missed 3 from Norman Powell, and it's a rebound from Peyton Pritchard, who gets fouled by Myron Gardner. So Boston will have the ball. 2 free throws for Peyton Pritchard. Peyton Pritchard misses the first, but he knocks down the second, and we have ourselves a 6-point game. Kelly Oubre comes in the game for Miami, and Derek White will come in the game for Boston. All right, Peyton Pritchard makes both free throws, but Miami answers back with a basket of their own, and Boston answers back with a 3-pointer of their own. So right now the Heat are leading by 5, but nope, they answer back with a basket of their own, and they are now leading by 7. So far, so good for Miami. They're keeping that stronghold of their lead. Miami leading 53-46 with 4:12 remaining in the second quarter. And we got ourselves another foul on Myron Gardner. So that's 2 personal fouls on Myron Gardner. Jaime Jaquez Jr. is now entering the game for Miami. He replaces Myron Gardner. 3:45 remaining in the second quarter. Miami still leading by 7. All right, here comes Boston now. All right, the Celtics have possession. They turn over the ball. Stolen by Norman Powell. He gives it to Fontecchio. That's a missed 3. And there's another basket from Boston. They trail by 5 in this one. Hugo Gonzalez getting that running layup, and that's going to lead to a timeout for Miami. The Heat lead 53-48. And we are back. Score is 53-48 Miami. We have some substitutions right now. Drew Smith is entering back into the game. He replaces Simone Fontecchio. A bad pass from Drew Smith. Peyton Pritchard comes up with the steal. And we got ourselves a foul on Drew Smith. So that will be 2 free throws for Boston. 2:58 remaining in the second quarter. All right, now Miami needs to take care of that lead and not come up with any mishaps. Sorry, Boston will inbound the ball, and they knock down that basket. So right now it's a 3-point game with 2:35 remaining in the second. Jaylen Brown knocking down that fadeaway shot. Kelly Ware coming up with that rebound, gives it to Kaspers Jakajunas. He misses that basket. And And Boston knocks down that 3, and we're all tied up at 53 with 2:26 remaining in the second quarter. Hugo Gonzalez coming up big with that putback layup for Boston. But that was also a 3 from Boston. So right now Miami needs to get back on track, and they call for a timeout quickly. So we are tied at 53 in this game. All right, and we are back. Score was tied at 53, but then Miami answers back with a 3 of their own from Kasper Yakajun. Nope. Simone Fontecchio for 3. That's a miss. Stolen away by Bam. And here comes Norman Powell for the long 3. Go Norman Powell Ranger. That's a 3 for Miami. All right, and here comes Peyton Pritchard, guarded by Kasper Yakajunas. He gets fouled, and he will go to the line for 2 free throws. All right, Peyton Pritchard now on the line for 2 free throws. As Miami talking over strategy. Peyton Pritchard knocks down the first. And Yaka Juniors will come out of the game for Miami. Drew Smith now in the game for Miami as Peyton Pritchard knocks down that free throw. And Miami leads by 1. Here comes Jaquez, guarded by Jordan Walsh. Jaquez misses the layup, but Bam was there for the putback. And the Heat go up by 3. Here comes Derek White being guarded by Hawkes. Jaylen Brown sending this pick. But there was no need for it as Derek White knocks down that three and we're all tied up at 58. Here comes Drew Smith with a three of his own. He misses it. Rebound by Jordan Walsh. Here comes Derek White. White being guarded by Drew Smith. Derek White for another long three. He misses. Rebound by Hawkes. Out to Drew Smith. Loses the ball. And that will end the second quarter as both teams are tied at 58. The second quarter was back and forth, a lot of leads being traded. And even though we had some technical difficulties on our end, trying to give you guys the play-by-play, we did just enough or did just little or whatever we could to provide some action of our own. So right now, both teams are tied at 58. It's still a back and forth game. It's still anyone's game. So we'll be right back for the third quarter. And we are back, ready to begin the third quarter. Both teams tied at 58. And right now, Boston looking to get a big jump in the third quarter. Right now, they score a three-pointer to get themselves back into this one. Sorry if I'm getting myself ahead of this game. Yes, both teams are indeed warming up to get the third quarter on the way. All right, so here we go. Peyton Pritchard now has the ball, bringing it up to the floor. Gives it to Jaylen Brown. Peyton Pritchard hits the three, and Boston now has a 3-point lead. All right, and here come the Heat. Yakajunas being guarded by Derek White. Yakajunas gives it to Norman Powell for three. He misses it. Rebound by Yakajunas. Out to Jaquez. Norman Powell gets it another shot. He misses. Back taps out to Yakajunas. Finds Jaquez. Jaquez gets his shot blocked, but he will go to the line for 2 free throws. Foul was on Jaylen Brown. All right, Jaquez knocks down the first, and we have ourselves a 2-point game. And Jaquez makes both free throws, so we have ourselves a 1-possession game. Miami so far has 19 second chance points. Very good for them, going up against Boston's 5. And here comes Boston. Last touch by Jaime Jaquez Jr., so the Celtics will inbound the ball. And here comes Peyton Pritchard for the long three. He misses it. Rebound by Kelly Ware. Gives it to Bam. Gives it to Jaquez. Jaquez with a fadeaway, and he knocks it down to give Miami the lead. And here comes Boston now. Jaylen Brown being guarded by Kelly Ware. Jaylen Brown with a step back, and he knocks it down, and Boston retakes the lead. And here comes Jaquez to Yakajunas. They give it to Kelly Ware. Back to Norman Powell. Here comes Jaquez. Jaquez with a free lane. Oh, woo! He took off like train on that dunk. Jaime Jaquez Jr. giving Miami the lead again. And here comes Amos Keita. Gets his shot blocked, but Amos Keita is down, and he is clutching that lower back. He is writhing in pain right now. He took a very hard landing after that block. Not just his lower back, but the back of his head as well. Amos Keita is he's being helped up to his feet. Nothing too serious, but he is clutching that lower back. And that was a very nasty fall. Hopefully nothing serious comes of it for Neemias Queta. Referees are right now looking to see if this was a flagrant foul on Miami. All right, so it'll be 2 free throws for Neemias Queta. Miami gets hit with a flagrant foul. Most likely, I think that foul could have been on either Norman Powell or Bam Adebayo. But it will be 2 free throws for Neemias Queta. Queta misses the first. And Queta will go 1 of 2 from the line as we're tied at 64. And here comes the Heat now. Kel'el Ware for 3. And Kel'el Superboy Ware knocks down the corner 3 as the Heat retake the lead. Here comes Jaylen Brown. Out to Peyton Pritchard. Back out to Jaylen Brown. And Neemias Queta comes up with that. But I think he got fouled as well. All right, so Jaylen Brown will go to the line for 2 free throws instead. Jaylen Brown makes the first. And Jaylen Brown makes both free throws. So it's a 1-possession game. And that's a traveling violation on Miami, so it will be Boston ball. And here comes Peyton Pritchard. And Derek White knocks down that 3. And Boston retakes the lead again. Derek White so far has 22 points off 60% shooting from the field. Kasparas Jakajunas a 3, and he knocks it down. Kasparas the friendly ghost Jakajunas 3 for Miami. And the Heat lead by 1. Back and forth we go as both teams try to retake the lead from each other. Neemias Queta gives it to Jaylen Brown. And Jaylen Brown comes up with that miss. Bam Adebayo has the rebound, gives it to Hawkes. Gives it to Norman Powell. And Norman Powell knocks it down as the Heat go up by 3. And here comes Derek White. Gives it to Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown drives into the lane. He gets fouled and will go to the line for 2 free throws. Jaylen Brown makes the first. Uh-huh. And Jaylen Brown makes both free throws. So it's now a one-possession game. Here comes Hawkins, being guarded by Jaylen Brown. Gives it to Bam. Bam being guarded by Jordan Walsh. Kasper Siaka Jr. gets fouled. And he will go to the line. I'm sorry. Miami will have it side out. Excuse me. And here comes Norman Powell. Gives it to Hawkins. Kasper Siaka Jr. goes baseline. Gives it to Kel'el Ware. Bam is there for the tip-in, but no go. Basket interference on Miami. Bam should have waited. And here comes Boston now. Jaylen Brown has it. Gives it to Neemias Queta, but he gets fouled. Nope, it's going to be a traveling violation on Boston, so it will go right back to Miami. All right, here comes Hawkins. Gives it to Norman Powell. To Kasper Siaka Jr. And that's a turnover. Nope. Jordan Walsh stepped out of bounds, and that's going to be Heat ball. Kel'el Ware now has it. He goes to the three. And Kel'el Superboy Ware. Three from Miami, and that will prompt a Boston timeout. Miami leads 75-71. And we will be back for more Heat play-by-play action, courtesy of Kendall Sports Network. And we are back. Score is 75-71 Miami. Right now, the Heat have a 4-point lead, and they look to be in the driver's seat. Hopefully they can build upon this lead as we continue this game. So far in this game, Drew Smith has 3 points, 2 assists, in only 12 minutes. Right, here comes Boston now. And that's going to be another costly turnover for the Celtics. So it'll be Heat ball. All right, Miami will have a side out. Simone Fontecchio is now in the game for Miami. Gives it to Kasparas Giacojunas. Here comes Giacojunas. He loses the ball off his knee, and that will be another turnover for Miami. So it will be Boston ball. Hugo Gonzalez comes in the game for Boston as Derek White will take a seat. Anthony Simons also comes in the game for Boston. All right, here comes Jaylen Brown being guarded. And Jaylen Brown goes right into the lane and gets the layup. Boston trails by 2. Here comes Drew Smith. Drew Smith being guarded by Jaylen Brown. And Drew Smith with the spin in the layup. Miami go up by 4. There's a 3 from Anthony Simons. Rebound by Kel'el Ware. And here comes Simone Fontecchio from Miami. Miami so far is shooting 70% from the field in this quarter. That's going to be out of bounds. Last touch by Boston. It will be Heat ball. Here comes Drew Smith. Gives the ball to Norman Powell. Norman Powell kicks it out to Giacojunas for 3. And Kasparas, the friendly ghost, Giacojunas 3 for Miami. The Heat lead by 7. And Neemias Queta comes up with the basket, and he's down again. Queta is down again. He's still clutching his lower back. He is in pain right now. Queta taking another hard landing. That parquet floor is unforgiving. Legendary, but unforgiving. But Queta will go to the line for the and 1. Neemias Queta with 9 points in this game. Make it 10. Boston trails by 4 in this one. Here comes Drew Smith to Kasparas Giacojunas. Giacojunas with the spin, the fake, and he misses that basket. Rebound by Anthony Simons. Simons to Peyton Pritchard for 3. That's a miss. And that one goes out of bounds. Last touch by Boston. It will be Heat ball. Sam Hauser comes in the game for Boston. He replaces Neemias Queta. And Boston looking to challenge as we will take a timeout. Score is 80-76, Miami. And we are back. Score is 80-76. After a review of the play, they're trying to say it wasn't last touched by Boston. I mean, who last touched the ball? From my vantage point and looking at it, I think Boston last touched the ball, but it said it will be Celtics ball. All right, Hugo Gonzalez has the ball, gives it to Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown being guarded by Kel'el Ware. And that's a nice block by Kel'el Ware. And it will be Heat ball, last touch by Jaylen Brown. That was a nice defensive effort from Miami. Kel'el Ware coming up big for that block. And here comes Norman Powell, long three. He misses. Rebound by Boston, and here comes Peyton Pritchard. Gives it to Jaylen Brown. I think that's going to be out of bounds on Boston. Well, I'm sorry, it's going to be a foul on Miami. That will send Jaylen Brown to the line for 2 free throws. Jaylen Brown knocks down the first. Jaylen Brown right now in this game has 15 points, 7 rebounds, 7 of 7 from the free throw line. Make it 8 for 8 from the free throw line. As Boston trail by 2. All right, here comes Miami. They're swinging the ball around. Drew Smith misses the 3. Rebound by Anthony Simons. Here comes Peyton Pritchard. That's a 3 on the way from Anthony Simons, and he gives Boston the lead. All right, and here comes Miami looking to answer back. Boston right now on an 8-0 run. Norman Powell, he gets fouled, and he will go to the line for 2 free throws. Nice heads-up play from Peyton Pritchard to find Simons for the 3-pointer. All right, Norman Powell going to the line for 2 free throws. He makes the first, and we're all tied up at 81. And Norman Powell makes both free throws. Miami now leads by 1. All right, here comes Peyton Pritchard. Gives it to Jaylen Brown. Loses the ball, but Peyton Pritchard gets it back. Blocked by Kel'el Ware. What a nice block. Here comes Drew Smith. Flies in. Gets his own rebound. Gives it to Kel'el Ware. He gets fouled. No basket. Kel'el Ware will go to the line for 2 free throws. That foul is going to be on Hugo Gonzalez. So, Drew Smith will go to the line for 2 free throws instead of Kel'el Ware. Jaime Jaquez Jr. now coming into the game for Miami, replacing Kasper Jakajunas. And Drew Smith makes both free throws. So we now have a 3-point game for Miami. Here comes Jaylen Brown. Flies in. He gets the layup. No foul call. Miami leading by 1 in this game. That's another 3. That's a miss. Here comes Peyton Pritchard with a step back 3. No go. Blocked by Hawkins and rebounded by Kelal Ware. Norman Powell loses the ball, but he gets fouled by Sam Hauser. Norman Powell at the line for Miami. He makes the first. Derek White re-entering the game for Boston. Bam Adebayo coming into the game for Miami. And Norman Powell goes 1 of 2 from the line. And here comes Boston now. Hugo Gonzalez. He gets fouled, and we will go to the line for 2 free throws. Foul's going to be on Bam Adebayo. Hugo Gonzalez makes the first. And he misses the second. So we still have a 1-point game. Here comes Hawkins. Hawkins loses the ball. And here comes Jaylen Brown on a fast break to Anthony Simons. And he gives Boston the lead again. Boston now leads by 1. And another turnover for Boston. Jaylen Brown now has it, being guarded by Bam. Jaylen Brown coming up with that miss. And here comes Miami. Jaime Hawkins Jr. flies in. And he gets fouled by Derek White. Jaime Hawkins Jr. in this game, he has 9 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. Nearing a double-double right now. Hawkins makes the first. And Myron Gardner now entering the game for Miami. Hawkins goes 1 of 2 from the line, and we're tied at 86. All right, here comes Boston. Derek White being guarded by Myron Gardner. Gives it to Jaylen Brown. Gets his shot blocked. And it will go out of bounds. Miami's discussing strategy right now. Alright, so it looks like Jaylen Brown will go to the line for 2 free throws. So far, he has 18 points in this game. He misses the first. And Jaylen Brown makes 1 of 2 from the line as Boston leads by 1. All right, here comes Miami. Here comes Hawkins. Swings it out to Drew Smith. Drew Smith misses the basket. Rebound by Hugo Gonzalez. Here comes Anthony Simons. Simons gives it to Derek White. To Jaylen Brown. Derek White for 3. And that one's going to be a 4-point lead for Boston. Derek White has 25 points in this game. Here comes Bam. He gets fouled, and he will go to the line for 2 free throws. Bam misses the first. And Bam goes 1 of 2 from the line. Right, here comes Boston. A turnover by Miami. Here comes Drew Smith. Drew Smith being guarded by Sam Hauser. These are the Hawkins. Hawkins looking to fly in. And he gets the layup. Jaime Hawkins now gives Miami it's going to be a 1-possession game for Miami. And Jaylen Brown gets the layup. Long 3 from Drew Smith. Almost knocked it in. At the end of the third quarter, Boston leads 92-89. We'll be back for the fourth quarter for play-by-play action, courtesy of Kindle Sports Network. And we are back. Score is 92-89 Boston. The fourth quarter ready to begin. Miami will have possession of the ball. So far in this one, Boston has shot 51% from the field to Miami's 37%. But in terms of blocks, that goes to Boston, and Miami only has 21 second chance points. Bam Adebayo gets the basket. And this one's a one possession game. Here comes Anthony Simons, being guarded by Drew Smith. Gives it to Derek White, being guarded by Bam. That's a three from Sam Hauser, and that one is good. Sam Hauser gives Boston a 4-point lead. Here comes Simone Fontecchio. Hugo Gonzalez comes up with that block and that steal. Another three on the way, and that one is good for Sam Hauser, and that will lead to a timeout for Miami. The Celtics lead 98-91. And we are back. Score is 98-91 Boston. Sam Hauser out there hitting back-to-back three-pointers on Miami. The Heat offense and defense look stagnant right now, especially in transition. So let's see if the Heat can get it back together. Hugo Gonzalez right now, he has 7 points in this game for Boston. Here comes Fontecchio. He comes up with that miss, and here comes Boston again. Nice steal by Drew Smith. He gets it back for Miami. That's a three from Simone Fontecchio, and he knocks it down. Simone La Dolce Vita Fontecchio. Three from Miami. And here comes Boston now. Derek White being guarded by Bam. Now guarded by Drew Smith. That's a three. And Derek White knocks down the three to give Boston a 7-point lead. Here comes Myron Gardner. Gives it to Drew Smith. Out to Hawkes. It's another corner three. Missed by Fontecchio. Here comes Drew Smith. Thought about the three, but he loses the ball. And here comes Boston again. And Sam Hauser. Anthony Simons for three. And he knocks down the corner three. And that's going to prompt yet another timeout for Miami. Boston leads 104-94. And we are back. Score is 104-94 in favor of Boston. Right now, Boston are living and dying with the three. And it's been paying off in dividends right now. Sam Hauser, Anthony Simons, and Derek White have been getting Boston in the lead so far. Alright, here comes Jaime Jaquez Jr. Gives it to Drew Smith. Here comes Bam. And Bam hits the basket. So Miami trail by 8 in this one. Alright, here comes Derek White. He's being guarded by Kelly Ware. And Derek White again for three. Score is now 107-96. Boston right now are on a roll. Derek White with 31 points so far. There's a three. And Sam Hauser again. Oh my goodness. Another timeout for Miami. Another timeout for Miami. What is going on right now? Why are they not responding to three-point shots? Boston leads 110-96. And we are back. Score is 110-96, Miami. The Heat right now are struggling in the fourth quarter. Can't seem to get a basket off. Not playing any kind of defense. Alright, so right now Miami will have the ball side out. Norman Powell has the ball. He misses that layup. Rebound by Boston. Here comes Anthony Simons. Simons being guarded by Kelly Ware. Anthony Simons with the blow by, and he gets a layup. And Boston's lead continues to pile on as they go on a 20-5 run. That's a three from Bam, and it rims out. Rebound by Derek White. Derek White with the step back three. He misses it. Rebound by Kelly Ware. Alright, here comes Norman Powell. Guard up, and he loses the ball. Gets it right back and out of bounds on Miami. This game has gotten very sloppy in the fourth quarter for Miami. Absolutely unacceptable. And here comes Boston again. Derek White being guarded by Jaime Jaquez. And here comes the Heat. Jaquez kicks it out to Kelly Ware for three, and he knocks it down. Kelly Ware knocking down that three. So that will end Boston's 20-5 run. Kelly Ware was a double-double of 21 points and 13 rebounds. Here comes Derek White. Kicks it out to Hugo Gonzalez, corner three, and he knocks it down. And here comes Miami looking to respond. Kelly Ware again, and he knocked down the three from the top of the key. Right, Miami's trailing by 13 in this one. Here comes Derek White. Derek White gives it to Sam Hauser for three. No go. Rebound by Hugo Gonzalez. Anthony Simons has the ball. Guarded by Bam. And he gets fouled. This one is getting out of hand for Miami. Or rather out of reach. Nemias Keita coming out of the game for Boston. All right, Boston will have it side out. Here comes Jaylen Brown, being guarded by Bam. Now being guarded by Norman Powell. It's guarded by Kelly Ware. That's a three. And Jaylen Brown knocks it down again for three. Boston goes up by 16 in this one. Here comes Jaquez. Loses the ball, but recovered by Kelly Ware. Misses that three. Rebound by Boston. Derek White now has it. Gives it to Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown for three. Misses it. Rebound by Bam Adebayo. Gives it to Jaime Jaquez. Jaquez being guarded by Hugo Gonzalez. Jaquez spins in and gets the basket. So right now Boston leads by 14. Here comes Jaylen Brown. Gives it to Derek White. And Derek White gets the basket. Boston goes up by 16. Here comes Bam, all by himself. And Bam gets the basket. So the Heat trail by 14. Here comes Jaylen Brown. Ball was last touched by Miami. And Simone Fontecchio will come into the game for Miami. Here comes Hugo Gonzalez, being guarded by Kel'el Ware. Gives it to Derek White. Derek White to Sam Hauser for three. And Sam Hauser again for Boston. A corner three. And now Boston leads by 17 in this one. Sam Hauser with 15 points. Going 5 for 6 from three-point land as Norman Powell knocks that down. It's been one basket after another. And here comes another basket for Boston. That one misses. So far, it's been an uphill climb for Miami. Yakajunas missing that corner three. Norman Powell. He's off for three. And here comes... And that's going to be a timeout for Boston. The Celtics lead 123 to 108. All right, we are back. Scores 123-108. Boston. The Celtics will go to the line for two. Sorry, they're going to inbound the ball first. Sorry, now we go to the free throw line. Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown sinks the technical free throw. That puts Boston up by 16. All right, here comes Derek White, being guarded by Jaquez. Now being guarded by Simone Fontecchio. Out of bounds. Last touch. Let's see who was last touched by. All right, it's going to be Heat ball. And it's going to be another timeout as Boston leads on 24 to 108. And we are back. We have ourselves a coach's challenge to see who last touched the ball. Boston believes they didn't touch the ball. But Miami said they never touched it at all. So let's see what the referee's got to say. All right, so it's gonna be Boston ball after that coach's challenge. Boston will have the ball side out. Sam Hauser will inbound the ball. Gives it to Hugo Gonzalez. Out to Derek White. Jaylen Brown missing that basket. Rebound by Bam. And here comes Jaime Jaquez Jr. Gives it to Norman. Nope, that's going to be an offensive foul in Miami. And we're going the other way for Boston. All right, here comes Jaylen Brown. Gives it to Hugo Gonzalez. To Derek White. And that's going to be an offensive foul on Boston. So it's going right back to Miami. That's a three. That's a miss. Rebound by Hugo Gonzalez. And here comes Boston. Jaylen Brown gets to the lane and he gets the layup. Jaylen Brown now goes ahead of Tommy Heinsohn for all-time points for Boston as Norman Powell answers back with a layup of his own. Here comes Jaylen Brown for three. And that will put him further ahead for Boston. Boston is leading by 19 in this one. Here comes Norman Powell. And that was a desperate heave from 3. Rebound by Boston. Jaylen Brown right now with 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. He's flirting with a double-double right now. He could go for a triple-double if he wants to. Here comes Anthony Simons. Simons with the step-back 3. He misses. And that's going to be an air ball on Boston. Jaylen Brown went through the Heat defense like nothing. So Jaylen Brown will come out of the game. A much needed, much well-deserved applause for him from the Boston crowd. Here comes Kasper Jakajunas. That's a 3 on the way for Miami. That's a miss. Rebound by Jakajunas. Gives it to Simone Fontecchio. Keshad Johnson for 3, and he knocks it down. Miami trailing by 16 in this one. Anthony Simons will run the clock down. There's not much Miami can do at this point. And that's going to be a 24-second violation on Boston. It will be Heat ball with 15.7 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. There's a 3 from Jakajunas. He knocks it down. Alright, Boston will have his side out with 7/10 of a second remaining. And this one is over. Final score 129-116 Boston. This one was absolutely dreadful for Miami. Not having Tyler Hero, not having Davion Mitchell, Pella Larson. This one really hurts for Miami. I mean, of course, not having Andrew Wiggins and Nikola Jovic didn't help either. But Miami definitely got outplayed on both ends of the court, especially in the second half, where Boston went on that run. Or rather, a few runs, I should say. Definitely hurts that the Heat did not come through in the end. I mean, there's no excuses for Miami. They lost a tough one in Boston. That I will say. I just wish that Miami did more with the rebounding, as well as not trying to go for the 3-point shot, not trying to match Boston all the time. And you can definitely see that the Heat were wearing down by the second half, and that's when Boston took advantage. So this one was very tough on both ends for the Heat. So right now, Miami falls to 15-13, while Boston goes up to 16-11. For the Heat, Jaime Jaquez Jr. had 14 points, 8 rebounds. Norman Powell had 18 points. Kasper Siakam with 17 points. Simone Fontecchio, the only player on the Heat bench in double figures with 12 points. Plus we have Bam Adebayo with a double-double of 16 points and 10 rebounds, and Kelly Ware with 24 points and 14 rebounds. For the Boston Celtics, Neemias Queta had 10 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. Anthony Simons came off the bench with 14 points. Sam Hauser was on fire from three-point land. He had 15 points. Hugo Gonzalez with a near double-double of 10 points and 8 rebounds. Jaylen Brown had 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. And Derek White with 33 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. This one was a tough loss for Miami. And especially after the game they had last night against Brooklyn. But the Heat will return back to the Empire State, but it won't get any easier for them for their next game, because on Sunday they take on the reigning and newly crowned NBA Cup champions, the New York Knicks, in the Mecca that is Madison Square Garden. Game starts Sunday at 6 p.m. and you can watch that live on NBA League Pass and FanDuel Sports Network Sun. Again, Heat Knicks, Sunday at 6 p.m. on NBA League Pass and FanDuel Sports Network Sun. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. I know I've been away for a long time, or a few of those games, mainly because of having to deal with real life and working. But thankfully, it was my day off, and I was able to reconnect and get back with you guys. I know this wasn't the result we were all hoping for, but it is what it is. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, or if you were lurking, or you just came to see what was going on. I appreciate it. Even in the holiday season right now, as I always say, look out for one another, love one another, respect one another, agree to disagree with one another, and always find that common balance for each other. Because you never know when that day comes. Just be mindful of that, and just be mindful of others. I'm Deron Butler, reminding you to always run through the paint. Take care. God bless. I love each and every one of you. And as always, go Heat.